All right, you guys, what's happening? It is Bill back at the wall of tools, and it's nice to see you again. Another morning shot, and we're talking about something that probably a little more fun, a little lighter of a topic, which is utility knives and cutting implements. So I wanted to show you the 3 things that I keep in my bag, and why. I admit fully that this is probably overkill. I can do a full video on my tool bag at a later date, but I have this big honkin' milk crate bag that I got from Duluth, and I love it. One thing I will say is this is not the smallest bag, and so I find myself with the opportunity to use multiple of the same tool in my tool bag. And so really I have 3 of functionally the same thing, and I want to talk to you about how I use them, why I carry 3, and maybe you can tell me how you think about it. So first things first, we'll just start with the most basic and least exciting. This is a pair of scissors that I got from Costco. They're great, obviously, when they dull or get kind of grody. I just throw them away and grab a new pair. These particular have the kind of the black, like non-stick on the blade, which I really like. Just keeps things from sticking to them and making them have to get thrown away a little earlier. This is great for like cutting paper, cutting string, like if you've got a loop of string, this is much easier than trying to get a utility knife and cutting it. So it's just a nice like utility tool. It's not the best tool for the job, but if I need to open a box, right? You guys know how scissors work. It's all the same. So that's one. All right, number 2, probably the more traditional option. This is just a utility knife. I had another one and it got pretty nasty. And so recently I replaced it with this. It's nothing insane. It's got a nice locking handle here. This is a DeWalt. You can tell I just love the way their stuff looks too. This is a DeWalt. It's got a nice locking handle, so once it's open, it won't close until you push this over, release the lock. What I like about this one in particular, one, it's sharp, so it's got the point. If you ever need something really sharp, it's got this section of blade here, right? And then it's got a serrated section down here, so if you need to saw away, it's not going to be the best saw, but it can sort of do a little of everything, which is exactly what you want a utility knife to do and to be. It's not too long, it's not too dangerous. I've never had any situation where I felt like this was going to result in some serious injury. It's got a belt clip here, as well as a, I don't know, maybe a carabiner clip here. So you could clip it on, which I often will do when I'm working, like that. Pretty sweet. Nothing insane here. I mean, you guys know how to use a utility knife, right? I do like this. I think this is awesome. And the only thing I would say about it is periodically it needs to be sharpened, and so we'll sharpen it because it's a standard metal blade. All right, last one. This is where I get funky and a little off script. This is a plastic blade, maybe ceramic is the term they use for it, by a company called Slice that I found on Amazon. And so originally I was looking for something that we could use as a letter opener that the kids would not absolutely just slice their hands open on. And so I found this company called Slice. So these things are really sharp, but they also for some reason just don't, I don't know, they don't result in cutting yourself as often. I mean, I'm sure I could. If I really wanted to jam that into my hand, I could. But it feels a little safer, and I can't articulate why, really. And then I just found that these things were great for all sorts of other things. Like, many different versions of effectively a utility cutter, right? They have one that's specifically designed for letters. They have one that looks more like a utility knife, which I should have brought. I don't know where it is right now, but it kind of looks like this in the sense that you flick it out. It's got a nice beefy handle that you can use. And then they have this one, which I really like. It's got this kind of funky hook shape, which makes it easy to hook on things, right? It's got this right here, which maybe you can see. So if you wanted to put it on a little string and actually hang it, you could. It's very safe, so it's got this finished rubber grip here. Everything's plastic. The blade fully retracts, which is awesome, and it's locking. And then when it's out, you can see it's only out just a tiny bit. So you're definitely not going to gouge anyone, even if you do cut. I like that this handle is really easy to grab onto and get a good grip if you have to push hard. It's an amazing box cutter if you need to cut through like packing tape or anything like that. And the way they've done it here, it's really easy to replace the blade. So you can see here, I'm just like with a standard utility knife, right? Like this isn't crazy. You push down, you remove this housing, and then this little bitty blade is really all you've got. I know that the metal utility blades will have, you can kind of break off the tip and have a new blade, which I think is really slick. But this, in the case of this one, sorry, I'm all over the place here. In the case of this one, this is effectively, maybe you can see it, maybe you can't, this is effectively a two-sided blade. So it doesn't have that effect of breaking it off and grabbing a new segment of sharp blade, but you can flip it around and effectively start a new half blade before you then have to replace it. The blades are really inexpensive. They're not gouging you by any stretch of the imagination, and it works really well. So it's kind of a nice, safe tool. It's not metal, it's not rusting. It's a little harder to cut yourself on. And like, I actually like this one. This is one of my favorites because it's got this big handle. So it's pretty cool. Definitely check them out. They don't break the bank. I use it in a tool context, sort of an outdoor context, just because I love it so much, but there's lots of applications inside where I think this is really cool. And it's quite sharp too, especially once it's brand new. I mean, this thing can really cut quite nicely. So yeah, you know, similar theme here, right tool for the right job. I'm probably a little extreme in the sense that I could just have one utility knife, but instead I got three. But yeah, I enjoy them all. They work, and you know what? I just keep a big tool bag, and then I always have the right cutter for the right job. And if I misplace my cutter, I leave one on the table saw. I've still got another that can open a box, and vice versa. So there's just a little bit of redundancy too. I don't want to search through the bag for just the right thing every time. Sometimes I just grab the first thing that's got a blade and I roll. And so each of these checks that for me. Other thing I will say, now that I'm holding these in my hand, this is a lot lighter than these two. These two have metal. They're great, they're sturdy, they're awesome. But because this is all plastic, this thing is actually just really light. So even though it looks big, and that big creates a really good handle, it doesn't actually weigh a lot in your tool bag. So check out Slice. They're really cool. They have lots of different cutting options. They have a scraper too. That's like a utility scraper that I actually use outdoor a lot. So I've been really happy with it. Give it a shot. The blades aren't insane. Just a cool product if you want to switch up your utility knife. All right, guys, thanks for listening, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.